Kol hashoneh halachot b'chol yom. So we have two mitzvot of the day, the mitzvah number 53 and mitzvah number 54. 53 says that the Beit Din has an obligation to judge damages that the person has performed or has enacted or with his negligence caused, with his opening a pit. So the specific damage we'll discuss what that means. Mitzvah number 54 is going to be the Beit Din has an obligation to judge in cases. So we will see that in the cases of Beit Din Ganav b'tashlumin or b'mita, if the Ganav has to be killed, I mean, most generally it says over there that if a victim murdered the Ganav, we'll see if it was clear that he was going to kill him. We'll see exactly what is going on there. Okay, so today mitzvot are sponsored. Bezat Hashem, לרפואה שלמה, לחיה בת לאה, and לעילוי נשמת. לעילוי נשמת, mitzvot are sponsored. What? יחזקאל, נתנאל, בן רב אבישי, הלוי שליטה. Bezat Hashem, רוח דהיינו בגן עדן, Bezat Hashem. Anybody wants to sponsor it, you could, you know how to reach out. Okay, מצווה, לדון בדיני הפותח בור במקום שהוא כישלון לבני אדם. Rabbi, we have obligation to judge cases where a person opens up a pit and people get harmed by it. שנאמר את זה in pasuk Shbot, 21st chapter, 33rd pasuk, וכי יפתח איש בור, when a man opens up a pit. Okay? And over there, and they continue, כמו שכתוב בפרשה, איזה expense, ולאו דווקא בור, אלא אפילו שיח ומערה. It doesn't necessarily mean a pit. Let's say he opened up somehow like a cave of some sort, or he made a ditch where he's going to collect water. You know, it's not meant to be just a pit. Let's say in the olden days it would be a trap. A pit would be considered a trap. But over here he didn't open up this hole. He specifically opened this hole for a ditch to make water, to collect water for his animals, for himself, whatever it is. Right in the olden days, the wells. So it doesn't matter. Or a cave, even if he cave, side hole. So let's say a person walks, he could trip and fall in there. That also is dangerous. Or animals, mostly, if a person falls into the pit, we'll say you're not obligated, but what's his name? But it's mostly concerned about the animals. Animals being harmed by these openings. ולא נאמר בור אלא ללמד שיהיה בו כדי להעמיד דהיינו 10 טפחים. So the Torah obligates the opening of the pit. We said over there, it has to have enough ditch, enough opening to kill. And we'll see. Shorasha kvar nechtav, as we already explained, that the Beit Din has an obligation to judge. The judgments we already understand. If people don't have a fear of judgment, the people will do whatever they want, and that will make sure, that will harm the settlement of the individuals or the countries. People will stop settling in towns. Okay, like many people ask, why I run away from New York? Why shouldn't I run from New York? In New York, there is no judgment. They took away bail. They took away from you self-defense. So what normal people do, run away. People don't justify, I'm staying here because we have a lot of yeshivas in New York, and therefore the Torah of yeshivas will protect us. You see it's not working. You can't live frivolously like this, thinking, the Torah over here so will be protected. And meanwhile, the government is decaying, taking away rights, even self-defense now. So a smart person, so we see that's what the purpose of all the judgments is, to have civility, civil. You're living like a normal human being and not being threatened by anybody. Like one of the Rabbanim tells me, what do you want us to do? Pick up and go? I said, no, you're talking like this because you're not sensitive enough. When are you going to become sensitive? Has v'shalom. Has v'shalom. He's trying to come home like that man with his wife, a Bukharian couple, a man with his wife and a child. They came home 8:30 at night in Queens. The wife took the child, went up to the house. The man, as he was taking stuff out of the car, 2 people approached him with a gun. Give us your money or else. and he was not smart enough. He's a stupid guy. He started up with them, and they shot him. Okay, just like that. 20 feet away from his house, his wife and child through the window could see everything. And the guy is an idiot. He started up. Somebody comes with you with a gun. You don't play games. What is life worth? Let him take the car. Let him take the money. Let him take everything, the jewelry. You don't play games. And he was not smart enough, but that's not normal. What? In the normal society, people, if the Ganav knows you have a gun, he ain't coming so fast. He ain't coming so fast if he knows that you have a gun. But in New York City, the Supreme Court ruled it's illegal, the laws they have against gun owners. Right? So what this idiot government did? Right away, as soon as the court ruled that all their laws are illegal, they wrote a new law. They wrote a new law with a different language, with a different wording, and now we're implementing asur to have guns again. Hey, what's going on here? This is the people you're dealing with. Every human being should have a gun or a knife. In New York City, if you have a 6 inch or knife 6 inch or higher, you're going to go to jail for that. So people don't carry even knives. What the person is supposed to do? Police are afraid to protect you. Right? We said already, the police are social workers. The police have to become social workers. They have to come, and they have to have a psychiatrist license. Beit Mishugayim. A pepper spray even now. Here, Chacham, Rabbi Moshe says you're not allowed to buy pepper spray. That means you're not allowed to sell.
You can use it, but you cannot buy it.
Right, so you go find it somehow else. Go to Canada and import pepper sprays. Shem Rachem Aleinu. So we said that's one of the obligation of the Beit Din is very important. So all this what we explained at the Bash Amru, it discusses this in B'Makama, discusses to us, tells us exactly what is exactly a bore, a pit, who is falling in there. When a human falls in there, it's not your fault. The human has to be careful, watch where you're going. Most problem is with animals. The animals traveling, they don't know anything. So an animal, even though they are obviously caring for themselves, but if a person opens up a pit, he has to know that he is making himself a liability where he's going to have to be paying for the damages of animals of somebody else. Therefore, a person should stay away from it and not. If you open up a pit, like for instance, this geniuses when they do manhole covers. You open up a manhole cover, you have to put cones, and Baruch Hashem, the city obligates it now. They have cones around, they have some kind of safety. But that's the city because they're paying them to put cones. If they didn't pay them to put cones, I promise you, the guy doesn't care about you nothing. He'll leave the whole pothole and leave it like that. Because now that they have problems with the city, they're afraid, so they put up cones. But what about regular human beings? Same thing. No matter who dug the pit, if you uncovered it, cover it. What else is considered to be a pit? If you're walking with a briefcase, you put a briefcase on the floor and people could fall on it, or a shopping bag, right? You put shopping bag and people fall over it. You're responsible for this, for the pit. You may not be responsible to pay in the Beit Din. We say that the Beit Din, why the Beit Din cannot obligate you if you put a pit like this and the man falls over it? Let's say you
did a proper shemira?
No, you walk with the shopping bag, you put it down, and the person walking and he slipped and he broke his nose. Can you make you pay for it? The Beit Din cannot make you pay for it. Why not? We have a rule. The rule is it's called grama. But grama b'nizikim patur ba'olam hazeh. If you cause somebody to harm himself, it's not your fault. You didn't break his nose. You caused for his nose to break. In that case, the Beit Din cannot obligate you to pay. What happens? Who could obligate you to pay? Shamayim. Midei Shamayim, a person is chayav to go to know. You go to an actuary or you go to people who know the value of breaking a nose. They have a value for everything. You think not? Not only in the times of Gemara. They have. You're driving a car, right? The guy is driving a car. A truck hits him, break his arm, right? So besides paying for all the the vehicle damage, the broken hand has a value, $50,000, whatever it is. Maybe it's up to date. Everything has a value. So according to Torah, if a man you cause somebody to get harmed, the Beit Din cannot make you pay. But in the Shamayim they'll make you pay. In the Shamayim they'll make sure. So in order to be patur in the Shamayim, a person has to go find out the value of the damage, pay, and ask for forgiveness, and Bezrat Hashem, all will be good. That's with the pit that a person causes. Now, however, if I put an object and his animal fall over it, then there is a total obligation because Torah clearly tells me I have to pay for that. Okay. So this mitzvah of Beit Din, obligating and judging in the cases of pits, it's of course obviously on the males and not women. As we said earlier, women are forbidden from being judges. I forgot to mention that in that video. Very important to know that if you see a woman judge, ask for, what is it called? You could tell her to the face, I don't trust you as a good judge. Tell her in the face, she's going to get very angry, very upset. That's what you want exactly. Why? Why can't you trust a woman as a judge? Why can a woman be a judge? First of all, if she gets angry, it's good for you. You could ask for somebody else to judge you. But why can't a woman be a good judge? Because woman, everything is a feeling. It's a feeling. Woman does everything by feelings. They don't do anything by brain. They do everything by feelings. You're going to say, Rabbi, come on, we could don't. Yeah, it's okay. You see a police officer woman, put your head down like you don't exist. Don't say a word to her. She'll kill you. Crazy people. Women are in the power of trying to overpower all the time. So the best thing is when you see you in that case, be quiet. In the judge, you could tell the judge to recuse herself because you hate women. Tell her up front, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I don't believe you have what it takes to judge this case. Please recuse yourself so I could get a male judge. Hey, you're going to get into trouble? I'm sorry, yes, I'm a racist person. I don't like women judges. I'm sorry. I don't believe you will be able to. Oh, no, we trust her. Okay. So what are you going to do? You're stuck. Now that you made her angry, at least you have a case that your lawyer could appeal because she had bias because you told her you don't like her. You don't trust her. It's okay. A woman should not be judging cases, and you should find a way out of it because you'll never win. Especially when I go to courts. I was once in a court with a law and lieutenant issue. The judge was a woman. It was an African American woman. Nothing against African American, but this one was a wild. She has no filter in her mouth, obviously. And she told my attorney, if your client was here, I would shoot him. Yeah, it's actually freelance. They don't care. Everything is feelings by them. Oh, he's offending me. I would shoot him. Who talks like this? Everything is feelings by them. So stay away from women judges, and you have to daven to Hashem. That what do we say? It's a surprise for some reason in the Torah in the Birkot HaShachar, right? We hear when we say Birkot HaShachar, when you say Hashem should watch me from evil men, right? In the Gemara, actually it says over here, Miyetzer to Mitzer hara, what it says, ואל תביאני לידי חטא, right? Don't bring me to the חטא, לידי עוון, ולא לידי ניסיון, ולא לידי ביזיון, ותרחקני מיצר הרע, right? Where we have all that, stay, keep me away from, here. Let's again. Here. So, keep me away every day, me'azei panim, from evil people, from their faces, u'me'azu panim, from behavior, me'adam ra, from a bad person, me'etzer ra, from an evil etzer, me'chavera, from a bad friend, mishachen ra, from a bad neighbor, mipegara, any touch that could hurt me, ma'ainara, from ainara, u'milashon hara, right? In the Gemara, it's actually, somebody took it out, I'm very upset about it. U'me'ishara. The Gemara actually has that nusach. U'me'ishara. Keep me away from a bad woman. Now, somebody probably told me, when I was learning the Gemara, sounds like somebody felt like this is talking about a bad wife. It's not talking about bad wife. It's talking about this bad woman. Now that they have in power, they got back in power, that they have police officers, they've been judges, and they're bad, they're evil, because they do everything by feeling, nothing with the brain. So they're supposed to stay away from judging. בכלל הדין התשלומים בין הזיקו או הזיקו או הוסקו. However, if women are damaging or they were damaged, obviously we have to compensate them. That doesn't mean just because they're not judges, therefore let's not pay them for their damages. No, just because they cannot be judges, they still, the rabbi says you have to compensate them if you damage them. Okay, or they have to compensate if they damage. Mitzvah number 54. So till now we speak about mitzvah number 53, where the Beit Din has an obligation to judge cases of pet damages. 53, it says like this: Mitzvah לדון בדיני הגנב כמו שכתב בפרשה. You have to judge cases of a burglar. What's the difference between a robber and a burglar? Robber is doing it during the day in your face with a gun. Burglar is doing it at night, nobody knows him, right? So this is the case. We're going to be discussing a burglar in the middle of the night and it's secret. Okay, go like in the private and there's something happens. Let's see. Shemot, it says over there, 21st chapter, 37 pasuk, Ki Ganav ish. So over there it's telling you Ganav. Gnevla, the language of Gneva and Gezel. So we have two types of languages. One, the Torah says Ganav, and one, the Torah says Gazlan. So what's the difference between Ganav and Gazlan? So that will be the topic for the video of the world. So it says like this. What is Ganav? He takes a valuable item from his friend. So any action where a transaction occurs, the man goes ahead and steals an item without the owner's knowledge, that is called Ganav. Okay, that is called burglary. Okay, Shoresh Mitzvoth Mishpat Yadua. So again, obviously the judgment of the judges we already discussed. Why we have obligated to judge this. Dinea Kigon Tashlomei Kefel ve'arba'a ve'chamisha. As we discussed, a person who steals a cow, he has to pay 5 times. He steals a lamb, and he not just steals it, he has to sell it or he has to shecht it. If he shechts it and it's worth $500, he has to pay $2,500 for a cow, and if it's a lamb worth $400, he has to pay $1,600 for the lamb. Okay, 4 times. Bedin la'arog ganav abba b'machteret o lemachro b'gnivato. So now what happens is a ganav. This is what we started. He comes in the night, pitch of darkness, and he comes in through a chimney or through an attic or whatever it is. Or he comes in from the he dug in a hole to go to the house. So in those kind of situations, what do you do with him? Or what happens if you catch him? Do we sell him in order to compensate the theft that we discussed? That he has to pay back to the owners. So what happens is the guy stole a ship. Stole a ship. How much is a ship? Little ship worth? Little ship is worth $100. Now what happens if the ship grew in his house? Now it's worth $400. What happens in the case? Is there any compensation? We'll see. Or let's say the guy has to care for a cow there. The owner has to pay him for maintaining his animal for all this time, right? We'll see. Okay, what happens if he stole a $500 cow and now it's worth $100? The cow's market became big. Yeah, what happened right now? Recently, they killed tens of thousands of cows in some fields. All of a sudden, all the cows are dying, right? So obviously, the meat went up in price. Meat went up in price, just like eggs. A year ago, eggs was $1.39, $1.99 max. Today, it's already $7.99. Same dozen of eggs. What happened? They killed, I don't know. They said 15 billion chickens. 15 billion chickens they killed instead of giving them a little portion. My friend, a scientist that I speak to, where I learn about medical issues from, he tells me, he's a science researcher, he tells me that to cure chickens, all you need is in their lul, in their hole, where they're drinking water from, drip in a spoon of hydrogen peroxide. You know what hydrogen peroxide is? You know what it is? Okay, when somebody gets a cut, in order for the rust not to go in there, you put in hydrogen peroxide and it makes bubbles, the white bubbles. Everybody knows what it is. It's sold usually 99 cents in a brown bottle. Hydrogen peroxide, it's called. So he tells me, that's it. A chicken, if they have any signs of sickness, you put in that little spoon into their lul, into their water, where they drink from, cured within 30 minutes, max. This Rachamim, whoever run the country today, they decided that there's a bird flu, and all these birds are sick. Let's kill 15, 10 billion, 5 billion, the different numbers, in billions basically. They decided to kill all the billions of birds, and now the eggs are $7.99 a dozen. Rahman al-Islam, mercy, may Hashem have mercy on us. Again, so all this would be said. How do we even get into that? Quickly, right? We said, okay, so we have to. We were talking about the value of the item that he stole became more valuable. So now the chickens that he stole, or there's more chickens in the market, right? If they're spreading more, or then the value goes down. So what happens? So the Rabbi discusses all that. Yesoi Goy or Gonev Avadim. Okay, what happens if he steals Avadim? He steals contracts. Well, all those things are discussed in their appropriate places. Let's see where we're going here. So as we said already, this is talking about the judgment. So let's just quickly touch about the subject where a burglar was killed by the victim, right? So there's a discussion in the Gemara about it. If he came to kill or not. So it depends how he came in there. If he came to kill, he didn't come to kill. So all those things are calculated, obviously, and Bezrat Hashem. Yeah, right. Yeah. Over here, like I said, in Florida, Baruch Hashem, the police officers tell you kill the guy who barges into your house to make it easier for us. Okay, but it's still, you have to be very careful. Let's say I'm looking in the neighborhood to buy a house, right? And the guy put the house for sale. So you have to be careful. The guy comes in, just wants to see go to the backyard. There's nobody here to show him the house. Be careful. You don't be in Florida. It's gonna be. You better watch out. Make an appointment. You came to see the house. That's a good excuse. But the guy could use a gun on you because now the government says even if the guy coming in the backyard already somewhere that's more invasive, then you could use your guns. If it's, I guess. The most common and appropriate thing is to find out. I mean, the guy's not coming to steal. If he's looking. You have to be careful not to commit a murder in that situation. But I guess everything is proportionate. Like in where the hurricane went through, those guys are coming to the backyard. They're not coming to look. They're not coming to look to buy the property. They're coming to loot. So if they're coming to loot, obviously it will be appropriate for the homeowner to defend himself, his property. Okay, so the rabbi says over here, all these things about the rules of the Beit Din are only shayach in Eretz Israel, and it has to be smuchim, right? That many things that are related to Kdasod, penalties, only the rabbis who are smuchim. However, selling a slave, the rabbi wants to end off here, selling a slave, meaning a Ganav, a thief, to sell to compensate for his theft, to pay back the original victim, you cannot do that unless it's in the time of Beit HaMikdash, or at least when the Yovel was, before the Beit HaMikdash. We also had every 50 years Yovel. That only requirement is then. And Bezrat Hashem, have a wonderful day, and Hashem should give us all atzlacha and make a lot of guys money, make a lot of money, guys, and don't be bothered by making it.